Hello everybody. Furious, you made me laugh really hard. Come on, no spoilers guys, we're gonna do it live. F it, we do it live. Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome Furious, welcome Shanui. I had such a fantastic time before the stream, so I have a lot of energy. I did some very funny workout, because, you know, like I combine now two types of workouts. One is like for, you know, for like strength and conditioning and balance, and the other one is more for like endurance and stamina, so kind of, you know, building that really long lasting heart and everything. So today was a day for a long lasting heart, and outside is -4. It is cold, it is icy, so no jogging, nothing, right? So what I did is basically kind of imitating skiing at home at a very like slow pace. So I was doing this for like 30 minutes or something, and it does make you sweat a little bit, so it's really right in that zone 2 where you develop the best your cardiovascular, you know, stability and stamina and everything. So it's really good, and it gave a lot of energy. So I have to be honest, like the whole day I was a little bit, you know, under the weather or something, and I also slept not too good, so I thought I need some, you know, some recharging batteries, and I was feeling really good. So I'm really looking forward to see what we are having here, maybe to send some discussion and conversation with you guys. So that's gonna be awesome, despite what has happened there. Hello Ivan, also nice to see you, and Yellow Dot, you too. Thank you for joining Discord, Ivan. If you connect your Discord account with YouTube, you will get there the automatic roll for the membership. So if you want to, you can do it, of course, and you will get the access to the only private chat, you know, that nobody talks in for some reason. And also Yellow Dot, I think I watched yesterday, I think, your first Uber run on a console. That was actually pretty cool, so congrats on that too. Ian McCarthy, hello, how are you doing, buddy? I always feel like it's been a while seeing you in the chat, so I'm always happy to welcome you in. And Harry as well here, nice. Very good, guys. Thank you for gathering. You're gonna visit your sister this weekend? She said it's -18. Hoo. Yeah, -18 is a little bit, I guess, like a little bit different story, isn't it? I mean, there is, excuse me, there is nothing wrong with like a little bit of minus, right? Or like -5, 10, it's nothing wrong. The problem is that you cannot really do exercises outside anymore in that. So that's a little bit, you know, that's where it gets in the way. So, and I had a little bit of issues to kind of supplement or substitute those kind of workouts at home. So now I find a way, because it has to be really low intensity, otherwise you get into that lactatic threshold, and, you know, I'll work on different things. So, but I don't want to bother you about all of this today. Today is the patch 2.6 announced. I think it's like hour long, so you might have had a chance to see. There is a link, of course, in the pinned comment, and you may, you know, look into it yourself or wait to see for me rage quitting. Oh boy, is it uninstall or we continue blasting? Oh man, you think you play a bit with niece and enjoy, have 2 days off? Sweet. So wait, from like Thursday and Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, or something like this, or Friday, Monday? That sounds good. I mean, do play outside. Just, you know, remember, you are old, so if you fall, you can you can break bones, so be careful. All right, I'm joking on you. Monday, Tuesday, yes, sweet. Jerk. Jerk is the movement you shouldn't do with your legs, because that's how you fall down. All right, so are we ready to actually switch the scenes and look into this? It's been 6 minutes. I just wanted to give a little bit of time to people, for people to join. But first, 4 days of ladder off, so know what I will be doing. Wow, alright. And also, by the way, just... Wait a second, sorry. I just realized that I might have had my microphone a little bit on overdrive, or for the loudness might have been a bit too loud. So now it should be a little bit better, I think. Anyways. Also, I waited a little bit for, like, you know, helping people to group up with a ladder before seeing the patch notes, because anyways, you know, it's a little bit quiet, so maybe now I will after this I will start organizing that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the ladder start. It all depends. There is very turbulent stuff, so let's see how it goes. What do I need? Yes, the blah, 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 blah. Hello, wah, wah. Now you hear me. All right, I'm being idiot. All right, patch note here. You start later because I do not care. Yeah, that's also a thing. Like, I understand. I mean, it's a Thursday night start. People work on Fridays, so it's really not so easy to do, to be honest. You will ask for waypoints. True. I might do it with you. Why are you late? What do you mean? I'm not late, Tomak. Not at all. I was waiting for you, actually. So welcome, buddy. Thank you for joining. I'm happy to see you now. So now with Tomak entering the room, let's wrap up. That was very nice. Patch 2.6. We're all eager to play, and on that note I will finish the stream. So yeah, thank you very much. Alright, enough trolling today. Alright, every ladder and even the launch was on the Thursday night EU time. Yeah, absolutely, Diane. Also, nice to see you. It's been a while. I hope everything goes well by your side. So, it's been a while, yeah, and it's always Thursday. I mean, it's understandable because nobody wants to work on Saturday. Although so basically, if there is a fire or something when season starts, there is still Friday to fix it. And for them in California or where they are, in the Pacific time zone, they also have the entire Thursday. Although, you know, like working with those big things, we typically never launch on Friday, but also if we do, we make sure there is a decent support over the weekend as well arranged. So, yeah, you know, you can argue. But also for them, it's probably to distribute the load on the first days, so not all the people will be bombarding the servers. So that's also a way. All right, guys. Without any further ado, I'll just say hey to Jay, and I'm gonna go into the Diablo Resurrected ladder season 3 coming soon. Oof. All right. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Diane. All right, let's do it. Patch 2.6. You have returned safely. Join us around the campfire, adventurer. The stench of hell grows in intensity. Crazed snarls can be heard from afar. Demons birthed straight from your nightmares surge toward you. That's why I was sweating tonight, alright. Meet them axe first on February 16 when Ladder Season 3 starts. We have quite a few updates to Diablo 2 Resurrected to share. Continue on for a more comprehensive look at what is releasing with Ladder Season 3 and Patch 2.6 on February 16. Alright, quest log. Nobody ever reads quest log, let's go. Ladder Season 3, hello Mephisto. Is this a ladder theme? Making Mephisto die 1 million times? Sounds good. Alright, our first 2 ladder seasons for Diablo 3. Fail, let's start from the beginning. You have returned safely. Alright. Our first 2 ladder seasons for Diablo 2. For Diablo 2, Resurrected showed just how adept you adventurers were at saving Sanctuary, racing to be the first to cement their names on the leaderboard. Really? Okay, so there were not enough Mephisto kills, okay. All the while striking fear into the tormented hearts of their demonic adversaries in the process. Ladder Season 3 will begin on February 16, ushering in a new opportunity for brave adventurers to race to level 99. Does it mean they don't understand why people play it? And amass powerful loot along the way. We cannot wait to see how the 8 new rune words will influence the leaderboard. Spoiler alert, they won't, alright, or hopefully allow new players the opportunity to see their name on it for the first time. Right, sounds good. We're also introducing changes to the availability of Sundering Charms, existing rune words, and new heraldry cube recipes. Ooh, this is actually sounds exciting, to be honest. I wonder what's the thought behind it, but that sounds exciting. Existing rune words, changes to the availability. That could be interesting. Okay, if they do something like, you know, change the runes or maybe change the bases or allow different bases to be used. Okay, that's cool. Let's see. Availability of Sundering Charms, I mean, whatever. I don't care. Maybe they removed terror zones and added to regular rune TC or like good HTC with Grand Charms. Right, let's see. With the start of Ladder Season 3, more information about this can be found in the following sections. Alright. The launch time, as always, 2 AM CET. I mean, that's brutal, guys. Come on, Blizzard. How can you, like, move it 5 hours behind? And it will be fair. People in EU will be able to start playing 9 PM, play through until like 6 in the morning and go to sleep or work. People in Asia can wake up 4:30 AM and play. People in North America can start at 1 PM and play the entire day and half of the night. Come on! You can't do it again, you were dead. I know. I can also tell you why. That sucks for US and EU. I mean, let's be honest, like, yeah, I understand that for US, people want to blast 24 hours. So if it starts in the morning, it's kind of better. But again, I think it would be, like, obviously for them, probably Asia and North America is the main direction, right? So that's why they care less for EU, but this is like complete nonsense. Because the first hours are very important. If you cannot set your foot in the first hours for like 8 hours play so that you get through the game and farm Mephisto and Andario, sell the items and things like that, this is a massive lose for European players. Well, anyways, as it was with previous seasons, Ladder Season 3 will feature 4 different modes. Yeah, we all know it. Okay, for those new to Ladder Seasons, you might be wondering what happens to your shared stash loot once the current season ends. We remember that yeah, you have this check mark to see your previous season shared stash, and you basically pick out items from there. You cannot put them back, and then you can put them back into shared stash or on your meals. Generally, you could do that, but normally I would say just move your items before to your normal characters, and yeah, keep it to minimum, to be honest. US is doable, EU is brutal, yeah, absolutely. EU needs some love, please. We know, yeah, like, this has been like one of the biggest topics on their forums for EU, but the forum of EU doesn't even get updates on the PTR and news for the ladder, so nobody reads it, so forget about it. Anyways, once season ends, will be transferred, yes, to the non-ladder group. All items in that character group shared stash go into a new withdraw-only set. Right. Any items from Ladder Season 1 stored in the withdraw-only tabs will be lost at this time. So this is also important. If you, for some reason, didn't pick out items from your first ladder, shared stash into non-ladder, you will have to do it. I will make sure to post some notifications at least like a day or two in advance about all of this in the Discord, so, and also on YouTube, I guess. Don't forget about it. It's easy to forget about it, to be honest, and I don't blame you on that. Alright, when ladder season 3 ends, this withdraw only set of stash tabs will be overridden with any items in the ladder season 3 shared stash. Yeah, we know this already. You have a nice stash of trash honeys that will not escape Oblivion. Right. Okay. You usually use a paid day off for ladder start. It's once every 6 months, so it's not a lot. True, true. Okay, new rune words. Hustle. What has happened to this one? 65 faster run walk from 50. 40 IAS from 20. 20 faster hit recovery. 6 to evade. Holy. Can you see it, guys? Should I open it in a new tab or something? Yeah, I think this is better, right? Holy moly. For a noob, can somebody remind me? Evade is the one that is allowing you to run and not get hit, or which one is it exactly? Dodge is, I think, when you are standing and somebody tries to hit you. Avoid, I think, when you're running, and then evade. What is the evade then? Not get hit while moving. Alright, alright. So it's not that great, I would say. I mean, it's helpful in a way. You should remember that your defense goes to 0 when you're moving. So your normal dodge doesn't work. Let's call it this way, when you are moving. So evade is a kind of good all-round substitute for this defense problem. So this is kind of interesting. I mean, also they added all resistances 10, which was obviously one of the main concerns, that mid-game armor that does not have resistances pretty much has no chance being used, because like smoke and Viper Magi and things like that, they all have resistances. Lionheart, that is melee oriented as well, has resistances. It's really hard without it. So alrighty, cool. That will have some uses for sure. Again, it's a little bit easier than Treachery and also provides decent attack speed, so on Mercenaries I'm pretty sure that could be used. Personally, on the main character, hard to say, honestly, but alright, let's see. Individually, they are mighty, but when uttered in unison, a greater force is awoken. This is the mystic of runewords. Call upon these archaic forces to transform your ordinary items into a wieldable force of destruction, capable of smiting demonic hordes. We are introducing 8 new rune words for the ladder and offline single-player play. Our intent with introducing these additional rune words to Diablo 2 Resurrected is to sprinkle variety into the competitive meta, creating an opportunity for players to forge new strategies as they race to level 99. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't really see the point, or like how mid-level rune words can actually change the strategy to level 99 that is resembles around community-driven effort for one person doing everything and giving everything. So high-level, top-tier endgame rune words could have been, because 11 days for like 40 people farming for one person is enough to build any high-level rune word. So that's a little bit strange in my opinion. The intention does not really match with the idea how people get level 99. I mean, at least for the, you know, first 99, first 10-20 people that get 99, they do it as a community effort, or as a big dedicated group of content creators, streamers slash people that enjoy this game more than a vacation in Hawaii or something like this. Anyways, you might use it on a troll barbarian, The IS movement would be great. I mean, if Troll Barbarian would have been a little bit better, then yeah. Although, again, early game, probably you're right. That could be a good thing, to be honest, early game. Later on, of course, Fortitude most likely is the only way to go. The bulk of these rune words focus on bolstering resistance bonuses, while the other rune words are centered on movement speed and assassin and druid builds. Okay. Which both are not really contenders for 99 for an obvious reason that they cannot work on their own without too many extra powerful things like Infinity for Assassin and additional things, and for Druid it's just not enough damage, I would say, and capacity to destroy monsters too quick, too easily. So, okay, but anyways, let's look. Bulwark, Shael Io Soul, no changes, right? And let's be honest, this was, I think, probably one of the best rune words they introduced. Seemed really balanced, seemed really on point and good enough for yourself melee or your mercenary because it has all the required stats. So seems pretty good. Now, let's look at the Cure. Alright, Cure was the one with poison, the one that was pretty much really useless, I would say. Because poison was maybe sometimes you would use it in Arachnid Lair, Ancient Thanos, and Stony Tombs as like a, you know, to support yourself from getting constantly poisoned and really die from this, especially early on. Cleansing Aura, this is an interesting addition. Cleansing pretty much reduces the duration of curses, poison. Don't remember if it heals on its own or only as a, like with a synergy, not sure. But I mean, yeah, that might work, but level 1... level 1, okay, let me do something. maxroll.gg, let's look at the skill calc, because I think this is important. I just want to know what are the percentages there. D2 Planner. We go into Paladin, accept, character, cleansing, where are you at? Defensive, over here. Level 1, duration reduced by 39%. Okay, that's decent. In combination with poison length reduction, it seems to be decent. Also would be probably useful addition for the group play in a sense that you can have it on and support parties from, you know, amplify damage, lower res curse in the CS and stuff like that. So that could be used in some scenarios, or, you know, before you find something good in a group party, in a big one, you can put it on either mercenary or some of the people in a group and just have these curse and poison duration reduced. So I think this is actually not a bad choice, to be honest. Hey Mitchell, I don't know, let me see. First time reading Ground. Okay, Ground has been questionable again, and the only use we have seen for this rune word when we discussed it the last time on the stream is that early Uber Mephisto with a lightning absorb. So that seemed like a nice idea. You could argue that, yeah, maybe souls or something like this, but in reality, no, not really. You would most likely use lore that provides similar resistance and skill, but also if you really want resistances, you might use something different, right? Hey Dennis, good evening, good evening. We are going through the first big thing of the patch, so for everybody who just joined recently, new rune words and how they changed. Hearth cannot be frozen. Wow. Okay. Your jaw is still on the floor? I mean, let's see. Okay, in the Hearth rune word. This one provides cold res, and we actually said that this one is probably the least useful because normally you don't care about cold damage. It's like the second to last after poison pretty much. And the only really cold inducing monsters are the cold enchanted ones, and unless you have it at like 10-15, then normally you wouldn't die, especially that there is no more constant dual enchant bag that would, you know, do every frame cold nova into you. You normally wouldn't care about it. So having cannot be frozen on a helmet for Shael Io tool is actually a decent thing. I mean, you can always have Shael Eth in a rhyme shield, but typically early game, especially melee characters or like physical characters, they don't have really good options for helmet anyways. So there are a lot of variable options, depends on like if you want run speed, you probably use Peasant Crown. If you want just overall balanced and maybe some skills, you probably gamble some Circlet with plus skill tree or skills and resistances and things like that. So here you have Vitality, FHR, Maximum Life, Cold Rest, Cold Absorbent, cannot be frozen. So now it's completely different story, I think. So this can have use early game before you get, let's say, G-Face, Shaco, or GG Circlet, or something like that. So looks interesting. Yeah, no spoilers, please. Exactly. So that looks interesting, actually. Again, situational for some characters and also early on. Obviously, later on, cannot be frozen in helmet is Chamroon, nothing else really, or until you find Ravenfrost, or potentially Trangul's Girth, the belt that provides cannot be frozen. Not everybody wants to gamble Death Sash, and let's also be honest, Death Sash doesn't have anything except cannot be frozen, so this seems to be kind of an optimal version alongside Rhyme Shield. Yeah, I agree, Jay. Okay, Temper, the fire one. Temper, similar to Lightning. I am glad they didn't really change it because this one has its own use. It would be useful early on in Trivinkle for Fire Absorb, also in the Mercenary, on yourself. It is also useful in CS because of the Pit Lords. So I think it is an option for a helmet when you don't have anything else. Because again, most characters would like to want skills unless melee. So that's decent option, and I think that should stay like this. Nice to go with Spirit Shield too early game. That's true. The only problem is that it's really hard to find Spirit Shield early on. So that's usually, you will have this helmet way earlier, and then you can make Spirit Shield. Probably, depending on how much you play in your luck, it's gonna take you 2-3 days. SSF or trading, you will have to spend like a pool rune or something like that. Alrighty, next, the Hustle, right. Ooh, let's not spoiler the let's not spoil the weapon. I didn't see it. I think I saw something that I shouldn't have seen, but yeah. So now it has 65 run walk. We went through it actually on the picture. Has increased attack speed, evade, and resistances. Again, addition of resistances is very welcome because as a mid-tier, mid-game armor, without any resistances, it makes sometimes really hard to get those high in the hell difficulty, so it's important. Evade. Alright, let's look at the evade. Amazon. Dodge, avoid, evade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 40% chance to dodge a melee or missile attack when walking or running. I mean, that's not too bad, considering you will have all skills. All skills is a different story, but you might have 3 all skills. Okay, it starts to hard capping really and diminishing returns. So 45% on level 9, which is probably achievable with like Spirit Sword or stuff like that. So that would probably work. So you have 45% chance. Again, what's good about it is that, again, when running, you have 0 defense. And believe it or not, but defense also plays a role in mitigating damage, so monsters don't hit you that well, so you have like at least, you know, 15, maybe 20%, depends how much armor you have in defense. You will have 15 to 20% dodge chance, or monsters not hitting you. Having this 45% on top, well, it's only when moving, but when moving you have 0. So having this 45% when moving for monsters not to hit you is actually pretty good. I'm not sure what's going on there with the animation and like possibility to get stuck or whatever. I think it was fixed in some of the previous patches, so that seems like a good idea. Hassle armor is like perfect for Barbarian, and they get rest from their skills and need IS and move speed. That's true, that's true. They do get resistances from natural resistance skills, so it's pretty decent, And again, like having 40 attack speed already is a very different story, so that will help early on to reach some breakpoints, even with slower weapons, so that might open up a few additional possibilities. Again, nothing really groundbreaking here. The 65 faster run walk, we already tested it. The difference between 50 faster run walk and 30 faster run walk is not that noticeable, and the more you go, the less it's noticeable, so it's not really such a big change. But evade and all-res do provide quite a bit of help in surviving, that's for sure. Okay, weapon. Is it worth making this armor yet? That's a question. It might be useful on a mercenary before you get treachery, because let's be honest, once you get treachery, that's the number 1 on mercenary until very late, because of a fate proc, res, damage reduction and all of that, or maybe if you find, let's say, Leviathan, but that's way later. But what's the other one? The mesh armor, I forgot, it escaped my mind. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about, the one with a damage reduction. Yeah, shaft stop, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Hustle, 5% chance to cast level 1 burst of speed on striking and level 1 fanaticism aura. What? What? Let me consume it. Alright. We have chance to cast level 1 burst of speed. Level 1 burst of speed. Let's quickly understand what it does. Assassin. Level 1 burst of speed. Attack speed plus 20. Typical kind of bonus, right? And run walk speed to 23%. Duration 120 seconds. Remember that, right? Now let's go to Paladin and check the level 1 fanaticism. Attack rating 50% damage. Party damage, attack speed 14. So 35% attack speed with proc on top of 30% increased attack speed. So it's 65% attack speed. It is 50%. Wait, was it 50% damage or? Yes, 50% damage. Oops, wrong. So 230 to 250 damage. Not too shabby, I have to say. And 20% run speed. And on top of that you get 10 dexterity, which is, well, whatever. But no attack rating. A little bit attack rating from fanaticism, 40%. Yes, ED is increased too, exactly. So in total would be 230 to 250, which is not a bad ED actually for Shael, Ko and Eld. The closest ED would be from the Unbending Will, but it is really hard to find 6-socketed thing. Hustle is way more accessible because only 3 sockets and randomly you'll probably find there are more bases that can roll 3 sockets, coming from like also for claws, for let's say like I don't know, hammers or pole arms or whatnot. So that could be really good actually early on. The question is this enough damage to go for Trivinkle? Is this enough damage to go for Trivinkle? That's a question. Because you get here enough speed break points for Barbarian, and well, for Paladin you will use Fanaticism yourself, right? There is no really point in having this. Is this enough for, let's say, Druid, Barbarian, maybe, well, Assassin? No, there is no Assassin build that goes Triangle. So Druid and Barbarian, I don't think also Amazons can really go to Triangle, like the Spear Zones or whatnot, but is it enough? Because pretty much the progression for those classes is to stay at Pindle and Eldritch until you either quit the game or you find a weapon that can deal enough damage or runes for either Unbending Will or better for Oath, or like ultimately for Grief, to go Trivinkle, to get all the runes you need. Blade Scene can do Trav naked? Budget or not? You think melee and Trav is only really efficient for Barb? I wouldn't say so. I mean, I'm pretty sure that he can, the Paladin could definitely, and Druid can definitely do it as well. And I mean, I was also quite spending quite time horking and all of that. And for Barbarian it's also a little bit sketchy because of the Berserk not leeching back. So it's doable, of course, but like anyways, like if you start your first character, a Paladin or Druid, and you want to go Trav, then you have to, right? Because otherwise you cannot farm anything with them, the melee ones. The Frenzy Barbarian using 2x Hammer as they attack slow but will now go fast. Maybe, that's potentially the other options, right? Call Sweet Phil and tell him to go live. I mean, you can go to his Discord and tell him that. With Natalia set, at least pretty budget. Yeah, but Natalia set, again, look at this. This is Shael Ko Eld. This is potentially a weapon for 2 days. Day number 1, day number 2. Because you will find core, if you are efficient, let's say, you will find core rune along the way, somewhere in a day 1. And this is a weapon that you will use only for those few days before you actually find something better. You can then give it to the mercenary to get the Fanaticism aura, for example, or use it on a swap for the burst of speed, I don't know, something like that, but Natalia set is already way later. Thank you for subscribing. All awesome. Sorry, I don't have the alerts on this scene. Proc BS and Decrypify. Yeah, potentially. But looks interesting, looks way more interesting than before. And I also understand that now it's not going to be such a big problem for, let's say, Boazons. They might still need to work around a little bit, or like maybe there is some segue to, you know, to get rid of Faith main hand, but it's not going to be enough attack speed bonus, as I understand, from burst of speed to actually overthrow Faith over Wind Force. You like the options for Palace? Makes every build a smiter pretty much. Alright, interesting. But definitely, again, like considering it's a Shael Ko Eld, any weapon and only 3 sockets, that opens up way more possibilities for melee characters to actually deal damage, be a little bit faster, and be less dependent on the base of the weapon. So this is important, because pretty much previously you would have to stick to like Phase Blade because of the attack speed, or you would have to go for Colossus Blade or something for the Unbending Will, which is impossible to find, right? So that has been kind of interesting. That has been very difficult, and now with this one, I think it is way more accessible. The problem is, again, if you can only do Pindle and Eldritch as a melee character, because that's typically the situation for any melee build, because you are only efficient in those two areas, and if you can only do with this weapon Steel, Eldritch and Pindle, although I assume you will be able to do Triangle, most likely, then you open up a few more avenues a little bit earlier than before. Alright, let's move on. So you're saying Wind Force plus Burst of Speed is still not as fast as Faith plus Burst of Speed? No, the point is that before, with a Burst of Speed level 9, you get so much bonus to attack speed that you no longer need to use Faith in the main hand to reach the fastest breakpoint. So you could use Wind Force, which deals more damage. That's it. So that was the point that was there. Hassan Lawbringer on Act 5 Merc is looking sexy. Yeah, that is also possible scenario that could be used as again like very early easy options. Sounds really good on paper. Does it add a lot? We will see, I guess. Bosons will use this as their swap throughout all of ladder. Yes, they might use it, and they will probably, although not sure if it's better or like faster than Vigor from Harmony, but at least it does not overthrow the Faith, as I understood. Alright, let's go on. Mosaic. The rune word that I was disappointed the most. For the price, it pretty much made it even worse to play as a Phoenix Strike Assassin, for example. Let's take a look. 50% chance for finishing moves to not consume charges. When a finisher is executed this way, it now refreshes the expiration timer of the stack. Right, it makes sense, because if you have 100% chance, what? So if you had 100% chance, for example, your stacks of those, like, you know, things that move around you would still expire after a little bit if you don't refresh them. So using finisher here actually refreshes, so you can pretty much with 2 claws now infinitely spam your finishers. Don't forget to drop a like, thank you. Yes, please guys, don't forget. That really helps. So that's pretty crazy. So the only problem, I was already mentioning this before, that there was a huge power in the assassin before in the martial arts, in a way that you have kick that does 3 hits and it would release all 3 charges, and that even with like next hit delay and all that stuff, it would do still more damage to everything around. Maybe not more damage for one particular enemy, but for like as an AoE damage it would do more. So now you have to be conscious which stack actually to use. So this will have to be tested, because to me it seemed that only hitting with 1 charge deals less damage, especially consider Phoenix Strike, where you have Fire Meteor, the Lightning and the Cold Burst, right? If you have third, and it's gonna be difficult with 2 claws to actually get to to stay, for example, on the first charge, but usually that's not needed. So second charge or third, right? So you will always hit only with a third charge. And to me, it felt that it deals less damage comparing to if you release all three of them. So that will have to be tested. But the idea at least good. The idea is good, I have to admit. It might be, actually, it might be that Dragon Tail is now the most GG thing possible. Because with 3 charges of Tiger Strike, Dragon Tail with like top tier gear deals like 25,000 damage. In the small AoE area of like 3x3 kind of thing. So imagine you can spam it now infinitely. That might be actually too good. If you kick 8 times with Talon, it's 8 finishing moves. This is something I'm not sure. Well, you mean the dragon tail, right? Because I'm not sure with Phoenix Strike when I tested it. As soon as this proc on not to consume charges happened, my second 2 hits were not releasing any charges. It would pretty much stop there. So I don't know if it's really working this way. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you, thank you. Don't forget, guys, if you enjoy, please do that. But then you can just use tail. Yes, that's for example what you could do. But man, the Dragon Tail seems to be a really interesting idea then. But I'm dreading playing the Assassin, to be honest. I mean, obviously as a starter you still wouldn't do it. It's just too painful to start this way. You will start as a Trapacine anyways and build your wealth as a Trapacine, and then when you have all the gear and like teleporting, you could be potentially teleporting around, just sniping everything and destroying packs like in no matter of time. Exactly. The only thing we need to remember, guys, that claws probably deal the least damage out of all the bases, so that's pretty bad. And the enhanced damage here is not big, and there is no flat damage addition. And this is specifically targeted for the elemental skills, which is fine for Dragon Tail, I guess, because I think its portion is fire, right? Or if it's all fire, but then there is like a little bit weird conversion, I don't know it from the top of my head. True, you can actually stack all of them. That's right, Dennis. You can actually stack all of them, but you won't have enough skill points. You would need to choose, right? You have enough skill points for 4 of them. What would the weapon swap scenario look like? You have to have the weapon equipped, this one, in order for this first property to work, for not consume charges. The problem I remember with Dragon Tail, you typically use Grief as a main weapon. So you might not have 100% if you want to really deal big damage. With 2 claws you will probably deal not that much of a damage. Exactly, finding the good claw bases, this is also impossible, because when I played through with Martial Arts Assassin in 20 hours or whatnot, we didn't even find a good claw base for the pattern rune word, so it was impossible to find actually. I think Grief works with the with Dragon Tail. Not the kick, but the other move that adds fire damage. Lowbringer or Lacerator for tail, really, to proc the thing? Okay, so there is a potential for some interesting theory crafting here around this stuff. That would be interesting. Not for kicks, for tail. But for some reason I remember using people using Grief. Maybe I'm dreaming. But that seems to be in the thing. All right. Obviously, these things kind of incentivize you to play the elemental ones, but again, I'm not sure if it's really gonna do that well. If you keep all 5 or like all 4 charges, all 4 skills charged up, which might be a little bit difficult if you run out of enemies, so it's going to be a little bit annoying, then you could deal actually huge damage. Imagine like 30% increased damage for every element, and Phoenix Strike, Claws of Ice, the Lightning Staff, and the Feast of Fire, if they all discharge at the same time. Exactly, your Feast damage is converted to your fire damage for Dragon Tail. That's why they use it. Alright. What did they do to this one? Metamorphosis. The one that also felt really stupid. For a sole reason that you could, if you're a completely madman, you could use this helmet and then swap in Jalal or G-Face. So Werewolf Strikes grant a mark. We still have a mark with increased attack rating, okay. Maximum life. The Werbear provides attack speed and physical damage reduction. And then 25% chance of crushing blow no longer attached to a mark of the bear. Cannot be frozen or res. So, question to you guys. Hustle fixed? Hello boy, we were just talking if the reduction to level 1 is enough or not. Crushing blow was in the mark of the bear before. So this was over here. The question to you guys, is this better than Jalal's? Tell me please. Is this 5 to shapeshifting, chance of crushing blow, enhanced defense, strength, vitality, can be frozen no res, is better than Jalal with a charm rune? Jalal gives 4 skills. It gives way more defensive things, like resistances and stuff like that. The crushing blow is pretty big. Although, depending on your setup, you might have already enough. That it won't be so noticeable. If you put it in a nice druid base, that's a good point. So for endgame might be the best. For the mercenary, I mean, it doesn't have attack speed. Typically mercenaries really benefit a lot from the Andario's visage, from the attack speed there, usually. Yeah, you can also use, of course, Act 5 Mercenary with extra things, but let's put it simply. So like if you were to ask my kind of opinion on that, this whole thing I do not like. I don't like that mechanic, because that just makes gameplay horrible. If you haven't seen it on the PTR, you have to go back and forth between the two things. It is pretty annoying. And then again, you could easily swap out Jalal or G-Face on top and see how it goes. I would argue that 25% crushing blow can be outdone by G-Face. I'm not really well versed in the sense of how much +5 to shapeshifting with maybe some additional skills, let's say from Druid Helmet, are how big it is of a buff for the shapeshifters. I would imagine somewhat buff, not crazy OP like, you know, for casters, let's say it this way. These defensive stats are pretty much nothing, really. Strength, vitality, whatever. 10 or res is borderline the least from all the items. Cannot be frozen. You put Chamrune in Jalal or G-Face, you get the same. Save yourself a few skill points, but do you have anything else to use it on? That's a question. It's kind of D3 mechanic, but I will try it for sure. Yeah, exactly. It's a D3 mechanic, and I mean, there is nothing bad apart from the fact that in D2 you don't have to use the item then, but in D3 like nobody does it, right? You just have it there. In D2 you can now swap out helmets for those 180 seconds, which is 3 minutes, typically enough for whatever you do. I think it just adds this annoyance to gameplay where you have to go back and forth. You would try Metamorphosis with fast elite hustle weapon offline. That might be a good combo. So honestly, what I wanted to see here, like just to make it a helmet that you build with a dedication to use, I would just remove the mark. I just remove the mark and say, okay, or maybe even like remove the wolf and bear distinguishment. Basically in a transformed form, you have more attack rating, more life, more attack speed, and physical damage reduction. That's it. So that it's clearly only usable by the like transformed character, so druid or like beast, sorceress or beast, whatever, whoever. But you have to use this item. Fire claws or rabies. Wait, flickering flame exists. True. It comes with a setback, of course. Senior citizen is in the house. What's up, K-Man? We are looking at the final patch notes and just debating and kind of theory crafting about each option that we are given here. Kind of wish that was an armor instead. I'm not sure. I think something like, I don't know, again, Enigma or Fortitude or Chains of Honors or something seems stronger. Of course, it's cheaper and could have been a good standing point, but this is clearly endgame stuff. To be honest, I don't know, Jay. The werewolf and like shapeshifter druids are the ones I haven't played at all in my life, and because I always found them cumbersome and not really pleasant to play. So that was the thing. Yeah, that's true that you wouldn't want Enigma for a character who cannot teleport in a form, so... But then what do you do with a character who doesn't use Enigma? Well, that's a different story. Okay. Overall, I see what they wanted to do. They buffed attack rating, because that was a problem always, but not much, of course. They did the crushing blow outside, so it's more universal and can be used elsewhere. 25% crushing blow is not available on many things. Only G-Phase has, I think, what, 15%? So maybe. Again, I would question if this is a good gameplay with pre-buffing, and if you would actually think of swapping in Jalal or some other, like, I don't know, Cerebus Bite, whatnot, instead of this. G-Phase is 35, the Deadly Strike on it is 15, right? True, G-Phase has even more crushing blow. That's a tough one. This one, Mosaic, and less Hustle. Hustle weapon is kind of way more understandable and clear in a sense of where it fits into the game and how powerful or not it is. But Mosaic has to be tested. How balanced it is, or like where it fits. Is it going to be really GG and easy to play and maintain with? Or it's going to be, again, one of those situations where you will run out of charges for some reason or not deal enough damage? That's a question. Same with Metamorphosis. I think you will have to see if it justifies to keep this one on your head with all the 2 pre-buffs that you have to do, or you just swap in another helmet that is stronger in some of the aspects, more defensive or more offensive. Jalal is tough to beat, yeah, especially if you can have those pre-buffs done to Jalal in a matter of like 10 seconds. Alright, let's read the developer's notes. What do they say about it? Damn it, so many. Okay, Bulwark, Temper and Ground. We liked where they were at and opted for no change. True, and we discussed it. I pretty much agree with them. Both of them have different use and make sense. Given Cure's more niche use cases, we opted to strengthen it with the Cleansing Aura. Note that the base poison duration reduction on the item went down, but the addition of Cleansing Aura results in a net buff to a poison duration reduction. True, and we discussed it again that this might be useful for a group play. Like solo, probably not. Maybe on your mercenary for like some areas. But in a group play, one of the group members could actually put it in on a mercenary or on themselves early game to support the curse reduction, which will be definitely helpful. 40% or like something like that is pretty good. Hearth. To build on the theme of this rune word, we gave it a bit more oomph, okay, to solidify it as a go-to gear option when struggling with enemies who deal cold damage. Right, that was also pretty good addition. Very cheap, cannot be frozen on a helmet. That is basically on par with the cannot be frozen of Rhyme rune word in a shield. But for example, if you want to use different shield for more resistances like Ancient's Pledge or maybe already Spirit one, then this is something that could definitely work. On top of that, again, you don't always want to have Death Sash for cannot be frozen. It's a little bit weak of an option. Trangles, Girth, Belt, not always easy to find. So overall, interesting addition, pretty much welcome. Hustle. Most of the feedback we received was around the armor form. Interesting. The bulk of our focus was to improve that form, but we also saw improvements we could make to the weapon form. For the armor, we wanted to add more offensive utility and some defensive stats in the form of all resistances. True. For the weapon, we wanted to make using it as a primary weapon a more attractive option to increase its viability beyond its pre-buff utility. Once again, true. I think this is really pretty well done. Needs to be tested if it's good enough, deals enough damage, but seems pretty decent. For mid-game at least, or even like early game, I would say. When you just get to the hell and you start farming as a melee character or something like that, that could be quite useful. Or even on your mercenary, maybe. It's always looking back in the reality. If you start as a melee, pretty much the only two places you farm are Pindle and Eldritch, because everything else is like 3 times less efficient. And what do you want to be in order to get rich in Diablo 2? Correct, you want to be efficient with your farming, so that's pretty much what you do. And the main question of course stays if you can run Travincal with Hustle weapon or it's not going to be enough. So if you can run, then it's absolutely GG, because for the price this is the fastest and the easiest weapon to get in order to do Travincal. You want to be rich, you want to be a Sorc. I mean. Hey Tryon, hello, how are you doing? And as for the armor, I think, yeah, I agree that all resistances were definitely something that was completely lacking, and it could be again a good weapon, good armor for the mercenary early on. Not 100% sure if I would use it on the main character. It depends. I would probably look at the breakpoints, the attack speed breakpoints, because running is not so important in many cases. So evade was probably quite useful. Could give you some defensive abilities, that's true. Although it's really hard to define if you will be in these situations. Like, you could see it, you know, running into pit or running through CS, maybe, yes, useful, but would you actually run there at that stage of the game with this armor? That's a question. 1 second, guys. Okay, Metamorphosis. We moved in the direction of a slight buff to Metamorphosis. We want this rune word to really compete for the Bastion slot for Shapeshifter Druids. I'm not really a Druid specialist, so I would really look into Dybransky's video about it, because he's a Mr. Druid in the house. So, but yeah, for me it's still kind of doesn't feel good using it, does not justify, unless, I don't know, seems like putting Jalal on may be a little bit better, after pre-buffing of course, and that makes the whole problem with Metamorphosis for me. Mosaic. We went all in on increasing the strength of Mosaic runeword. We wanted to add extra flexibility by increasing the chance not consume to 50%, so you can either wield one to get 50% chance or dual wield with that 100% chance of not consuming charges. We also added extra effect to how not consuming charges interacts with charge maintenance. I mean, what they said here is, yeah, it's pretty cool. That's good at least that they noticed that problem of charges expiring, so that's really good. Otherwise, we have been talking about it already. Okay. The 7 rune words and handful of... Wait, 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, Ladder Season 1. Okay. Have nothing to say. All good. Alright, we added in Season 1 and can now be used in non-ladder online game modes. Flickering Flame, Mist, Obsession, Pattern, Plague, and Bending Will, and Wisdom. Well, honestly, I hope that the other new rune words from Season 3 will be available in non-ladder in Season 4. I think it's absolutely stupid to keep it until Season 5 or whenever they introduce new rune words. This is dog shite, so we should not do that. 100 cube recipes. This is something that was quite exciting to hear. Huh? Raw soul per... I mean, those are already existing, no? What's the matter? Those are already the same. Or are they saying that it is moving to non-ladder as well, or what? I was hoping... Moving to non-ladder, Jesus Christ. Alright, I was hoping to see that crafted items can be upgraded as well. That's what I was hoping to see, but probably not in my lifetime. Anyways, let's move on. Sunder Charms. Adventurer, keep a keen eye towards the floor as you cut through Hell's Legions. Sundering Charms can now drop from fallen foes in all non-classic game modes. Does it mean single player? No. All right. One more joke. One more joke. Right. Feels bad. No. Yeah, that seems like it can drop in any place. Wait, but question, true. Does it mean single player or does it mean only out of the only non-ladder as well? Can you be please more specific? It doesn't say if it can drop. All right, let's keep reading. Okay. Patch 2.6, February 15, 10 AM, changes to terror zones and variety of quality of life updates and bug fixes will go live. Terror zones. Okay, that's the ingenious addition. This to spice things up. We have made changes to terror zones. Also, terror zones are now available in offline games. Offline terror zones will operate on a different schedule from their online counterpart, but function the same otherwise. Remember, you can now receive Sundering Charms as a drop in offline terror zone games too. The red font text below denotes which new zones may be terrorized, or zones that will now be terrorized in unison. Here is a complete list of all the zones that can become terrorized. Darkwood Underground Passage. The entire underground passage? Okay, so it kind of makes sense because you can go Darkwood and then also underground passage. Black Marsh, the Hall, Jail Barracks, Act 2, Ancient Tunnels, Act 3, Great Marsh, Kura Sewers, thanks. Act 4, Act 5. Pretty much every place, right? More or less. Developers note: our adjustments are focused on adding more variety to the available terror zones and improving the playability of existing zones. We've added some new zones, broadened others, and even removed a zone that was generally unpopular with other players. Okay, guys. Now we're going to have 2 minutes of why terror zones suck in single player, in offline. For everybody who's been on my streams, they already know it. But listen. So, why terror zones are good online? Let's start with that way. First of all, it provides possibility to get experience beyond area levels 85, because, you know, they raise with your character level, so you always get at least 100% experience from monsters outside of the general debuff related to your character level, which on level 98 you only receive 0.53% or 0.53 percent basically of the monster experience or of the experience. And if you have even more gap between your level and monster level, then it also goes down to I think like 3%. So eventually what it happens that instead of 1.5 million or whatever from Bale, you receive only 50 or 65k experience, right? So online, why they are good? Because first of all, they provide you possibility to go for 99 without just, you know, spamming Diablo, Nilathak and Bale, which are the 3 enemies that only provide experience, so that makes sense. They drop Thunder Charms. Let's say, okay, this is somewhat an advantage for some people or for sorceresses. And they do upgrade treasure classes of monsters because of a higher monster level, so you essentially can get higher tier items from low tier areas. So those are the good things. Why is it good as well online? Because online you have dynamic maps, so they're always new, and you have a possibility to basically go on any area where you want to farm, so it kind of brings you a little bit of freshness and variety. Of course, we all know that half of the terror zones are bad because areas don't have density, or they are really hard to get, or you spend too much time running around, so again, like loss of efficiency. So now, considering all of this, the main advantages, how does it translate to offline? Offline you have, first of all, static maps. So typically how you play offline, if you are a madman like me or something like that, you find within 5 to 6 hours or something like this, re-rolling a map of peat, ancient tunnels, stony tombs and whatnot, to have the best layout, the best density of elite packs, the closest proximity to waypoint, and you start blasting it for like 2, 3, 4, 5,000 runs until you find all the items you want. In this concept, how does Terror Zone make for a gameplay? It gives you variety, of course, so that sometimes they will change. I don't know, they don't explain how often it will change. I assume also every hour. So it gives you variety that you can now, let's say, farm underground passage, but it's going to be 5 to 10 times worse than farming Pindle or peat with optimal map or stony tombs with optimal map. So why would you go there? Again, for me, the only reason is if you want to get level 99 on single player. But once again, stepping a little bit back, the idea of getting 99 on single player has always been around like a test of character, basically, that you can grind 100 hours on level 98, either like running CS and killing Diablo, and usually nobody does Bale because it's kind of the slowest, plus typically you want to keep Ancients quest, or you do Nilathak for the same 100 hours. And it's just a test of your will, of your character, because you know, you have nobody to show that you have level 99 character unless you're a content creator like me, you know, and you can say, hey, I did it, woohoo. No, you do it for yourself. So what's the point of getting 99 easy way, because you can put players 8 in single player and farm those terror zones and get it with a cold sorceress with Thunder Charm in like what, 50 hours, 30 hours or something like that. So what's the point in that? That's true, Furious. It doesn't change the way how you're gonna play if you are really focused on efficiency. That's true. It will give you variety for like a very casual player, you know, to go different areas. But then there is another problem that a lot of builds are not yet balanced for the multiple immunities and terror zones. So again, I think in many ways a casual player will be like, oh wait, I want to play Lightning Sorceress or, you know, Lightning Trapezzine, but I cannot play because, you know, in order to be good in terror zones, I need this and that. Oh, that sucks. That's really bad. So you see that as well. So I'm not sure. It doesn't harm. It doesn't harm. What I'm like, my main thought process here is that they are settling this in. So we, like, in my opinion, again, I don't pose it on everybody, but it's my opinion. They are settling on this mediocre solution for endgame variety of activity instead of developing really interesting endgame set of maps, portals, rifts, call it whatever you want, where you will have areas, monsters, density, immunities, loot designed around endgame activity, and not just raising the level cap of monsters in the areas that were designed 20 years ago. That no longer makes sense. And again, like as you said, it's going to be good for when it's a pit or ancient tunnels and your character happened to be with a good map there, then yeah, you will have more experience, more loot and stuff like that. But it doesn't do anything else. So for me, it's kind of a lost opportunity topic where they introduce terror zones, and it means that most likely there will be nothing else coming in. Hey Oblivion, how are you doing? Good to see ya. Yeah, I'm sorta back. Just added variety. Not as good as an optimal farming map, but it's still something else you can do. Exactly, it gives it, but for single player I would still argue that it's very little thing. And online we've also seen that you would skip probably 40, 50, 60% of terror zones because it just doesn't make sense. True, might be better, but again, when you will see, imagine the situation in the Blizzard office on their roadmap of things they want to add to Diablo 2, probably new endgame has already a check mark and will never be revisited. So that's why I think it's bad as well. Means for testing behaviors in single player, honestly, Bova, I would say that's, I don't know, just download whatever mod you want with this thing and test it. You know, I don't think it's really something, maybe for content creators it makes sense a little bit, but I don't really think it's really a valid thing. But yeah, additional challenge, I don't know, the only challenge is with melee characters. If you want challenge, play melee character, you will have your amazing 70% chance to hit even with like top tier gear, and then that will be a challenge. For recall sorcerers it's not a challenge. Anyways, alright, let's move on. Let's move on. The addition of Sunder to single player are the actual problem because it confirms that this is the fix for dealing with immunities in single player. Right, right. Same story. I don't think that Sunder charms are really welcome addition to single player. It's uninteresting, at least. It does serve the point in some lackluster way, but it is uninteresting addition. They could have introduced more interesting mid-game rune words that would do similar for different characters, for different classes, like different bows with maybe low res procs or some one-handed sword or two-handed sword with conviction of low level and stuff like that. So that would have been more interesting than just putting a charm in your inventory. Okay. Quality of life updates and bug fixes. What's up, Top Secret? How are you doing? Just wait while Quad does all the research. Let's see. Quality of life updates and bug fixes. Okay, this is also something interesting. Auras from another player or a mercenary no longer remove passive bonuses granted by the same skill, such as Flickering Flames resist fire aura from a mercenary, overwriting a paladin's base resist fire from their own. Okay, fine. This also fixes an issue where Paladin's Blessed Aim aura would override the attack rating increase granted by Amazon's Penetrate skill. Okay. Assassin. The assassin's trap skills now benefit from -% to enemy resistance. Okay, that's interesting. That could be actually big for assassins, to be honest. Because previously the only thing that would work on assassins is lower res and infinity. You cannot have both at the same time with assassin. But exactly as Jay said, you can have Crescent Moon, rocking some Flickering Flame, and you have already a very good way to improve the damage of Death Sentry and Lightning Sentry. It's a huge buff, yeah. Also, finally, you can use facets for Assassin. Missiles created from martial arts charge up skills would not gain the benefit of +2 elemental skill damage. Interesting that they didn't say about plus skill damage. Although plus skill damage is supposed to work, right? Regardless. It wasn't... Although I'm not sure actually. Does the plus elemental skill damage work on the traps too? Cold Mastery is now applied. Come on, top secret, no spoilers, okay? Shh. Alright. But I think this is a huge win for a Trapassin. So she will be able to deal way more damage now. And there will be way more interesting ways to play with her, I think. Self-wielding Infinity Trapassin? Potentially. Okay, Amazon fixed an issue where Strafe was not applying bonus to attack rating. Rejoice, Boa! This has been done. Fixed an issue where Strafe was still doing 75% weapon damage after previous balance changes, right? An issue where the plus attack rating and power strike was not being applied, alright. Has anybody played Power Strike, by the way? Fixed the tooltip for multi-shot to reflect the synergy bonus. And, as we have already seen, Cold Mastery is now applied to 1.5 effectiveness after an immunity is broken. Round of applause. Please. This is the first nerf ever? In a way, yes. Yes, it is. I mean, Cold Sork is obviously the strongest now, because you easily get -200 on it, on a Cold Mastery. So 150 is what? 40? True, it's 40. It's not so much actually. But still, as a starter, this is the best. Like, you can't beat it. Teleport and Thunder Charm, and you have everything at 50%, that's good enough on players 1 to farm any area. Message retracted, what? Yeah, I'm sure, why not? He pushed it really hard, he was quite ahead, and I think the second team also wasn't really that much into it. Anyways, yeah, okay, this is interesting at least. But again, it wouldn't change much, honestly. The meta, the sorcerer starting meta wouldn't change because, I mean, the main targets don't need to have immunity broken. And as for farming solo CS, yeah, that may stay a little bit further ahead for Sorks when they have a little bit better gear. But you could still do Stony Tombs and Arachnid Lair and stuff like that, so, or even Pindo, Mephisto, it's not gonna change much. But it's I'm happy to see this change, honestly. I think that comes along with all the other reducing reducing resistances things. It makes sense. Now top tier Sork will have to have Death's Phantom and Night Wings and a couple of facets, so to deal good damage. Exactly. Okay, let's see the notes. We wanted to bring Cold Mastery in line with all other skill-based elemental resistance reducing effects for increased consistency. Yeah, what did you say last time? That in your opinion, Cold Mastery is in a good position right now, it does not need to be nerfed. That's what you said, developer. They killed Frost Nova build though? No, they didn't kill it, you just don't go into the areas with cold immunes and that's it. Nothing killed. Or you stay on P1. Fixed an issue where Fire Mastery's bonus to fire skill damage didn't apply to the additional fire damage granted by enchant on ranged weapons. Huh? What? Okay, interesting. Updated the tooltip for enchant to better reflect the skill's effect. Alright, so we have one person happy about this enchant stuff. This is Boa, who probably experienced it in the past, alright. Yeah, that's true, Oblivion, because in a way, Fire Mastery does provide less plus damage. Lightning Mastery provides a lot of plus damage. And Cold provides minus cold res. So I think they need to maybe then to add to Fire Mastery a little bit of minus fire enemy res to kind of be in between the two. They are literally buffing Boa, exactly. Exactly. Alright, Druid fixed an underlying issue that caused the Druid Shockwave skill to do an unintended amount of damage. We wanted to implement targeted changes and buffs for the Druid instead of having a particular Druid build be strong because of a bug. But did you... okay. There wasn't an offer. True. I mean, to be honest, I think the Shockwave Druid, it has been quite slow, sort of a slog. It was worse than Elemental, but it was super safe. So in my opinion, like what it was, it actually made sense. I would have expected them to keep it this way, or maybe reintroduce something that would maybe in a damage tooltip, so they fix a bug but they increase damage so it, you know, stays where it is. Because again, it wasn't top tier, it was just a very, very safe but very slow build that you could do almost without any gear again. I mean, it wasn't even stronger than Wind Druid, I think. If I recall correct. It's Druid, exactly. Dudu. It's Dudu. Okay. Terror Zones. What about Terror Zones? Fix terrorized treasure classes for certain super unique monsters and bosses. If I remember correct, so... this is a little bit of a difficult topic in a way because I never dig in how it works, but treasure classes were not increasing accordingly with the monster level. They would increase with way higher monster level. So like Diablo was only getting the next treasure class when you were like level 98 and Terror Zone was 99 or something like this. So I'm not sure what they refer here to exactly. Or for example, somebody was saying that don't do a quest bug on Andariel because then she doesn't drop from higher classes or whatever. So not really sure. I'm not really sure what they refer here, but I'm glad they fixed something in Terror Zones. Okay, An issue where an act boss quest treasure class would sometimes be used in... yeah, so... There it is, guys. There it is. That's the Andario story. An issue where the current era zone was not properly marked in the waypoint menu while using legacy graphics, alright, whatever. Fixed an issue with translations that appear when the peak is the current era zone, whatever. Controller. Skills granted by charges on a character's alternative slot weapon would have their bound hotkeys unusable, right? Fixed an issue where the loot to cube skill would not function if bound to the shared interaction button. So with all the changes they made over the last year, nothing has changed really. Hammerdin, Nova and Java are still miles ahead, yeah. They did buff Blizzard Sork, right? General, okay. Fixed an issue where pressing the hotkey to open the inventory while loading into the game could cause the inventory UI to appear empty. Actually never happened. Fixed an issue where the share stash could exceed the memory limit, which caused items in the player's inventory or stash to be deleted. That was reported from like week 2 or 3. I remember Yoppie was coming into the comments and saying that this happened to him in like before ladder 1, basically after the launch, and he lost all his high runes and stuff, and since then he never played the game again. Or maybe play it like in season 2 or something. Fixed an issue where the tooltip on the lobby season dropdown would show an inaccurate date. Wow. Fixed an issue where new entries on the leaderboard could display as unknown. Good. Fixed an issue where applying changes to controls will automatically close the settings menu. Good. Fixed an issue where changes to controls would not be immediately applied. Good. Fixed an issue where swapping between keyboard and mouse input and controller input would reset the difficulty filter in the PC lobby game list. Dude, do you want to impress us with the length of the fixes that don't make any difference? Added an appropriate error message when trying to create an online character with a name that is already taken on the player's online character list. Okay, that was a bit annoying that you did not understand why you didn't create a character. Because it would get through to the character list, but you will not have a character. That was a bit stupid. The ladder flag in character creation will now be disabled when there is no active ladder season. Huh? Excuse me? This is very interesting. Does it mean that they plan not to have any ladder seasons anymore? Interesting. Fixed an issue with voiceover lines from Tyrell and Janice. Oh my goodness, alright. Fixed an issue with the Chinese version of Deckard Cain's Stay a While and Listen voiceover dialogue. Oh my god. Modding. Modding. Move the percent damage synergy field for multi-shot. New columns have been added. Developers with existing offline single-player mods can remake their changes with the new data. They can add new columns manually before merging. I wonder if the save file data format changed. Doesn't seem so, but might be. Alright. That's it, guys. That's it. We don't have loot filter. We don't have stacking. Give me a second. I will create a little poll. Okay, start a poll. Patch 2.6. Is it goat or toad? If I'm using those words incorrectly, hell yeah, goat. Heck no, toad. If I don't use them in correct meanings, you know, whatever, don't mind me. I'm not the digital native. Alright, I'm looking for your responses, guys. I wanna see you answer the poll. What do you think? Wait. What do you think, guys? So let's see. The biggest winner of this patch is the Trap Assassin. Maybe also martial arts in some way. Basically, we got almost nothing. Exactly what we expected. It is. To like toads feels bad, man. Trap Assassin was a favorite of mine, so you like it this way. Nice. When both options are cool, exactly. You wanna see Trap Assassin with a self-wielding infinity now? Toads are awesome, exactly. Battle toads. You like the Trap Assassin and you like how Blizzard got nerfed? Okay. If I can add my 150 cents, I think this is a waste of time. And it should not have been on developers' timeline at all to add the Terror Zones and Thunder Charms into offline. They could have worked on something else because this has been done on the server side and has not been in the code of a game. So I'm not sure if it's implemented this way, like through coding, because they were mentioning it's kind of difficult to implement it on single player. So if they really spend a lot of developer resources and coding time on this, then it's the biggest lose, I believe. They could have spent it on loot filter. And this should not have happened. New rune words, I would say they're not groundbreaking, except maybe the ground. Right, but this is something like, alright, it's fine. It's kind of okay. Some of them are good, some of them are good. Of course, like Mosaic, Hustle, and Metamorphosis are going to be the ones interesting to play with and to check them around and maybe try to theory craft here and there. But rune words themselves, they don't solve certain gameplay issues. Issues like melee characters not nearly dealing enough damage to compete with any AoE caster or AoE character. Terror zones don't deal with the issue of shallow endgame gameplay where you don't have enough density or enough challenge or enough variety in the endgame zones, so that doesn't deal with that. Oh, and one thing I forgot. Jesus. Guys, we didn't get class balancing. No! They almost got me with all this, you know, Sand in the eyes. I almost forgot that we didn't get a single character balancing except the cold mastery. There is no balancing to the skills. Dudes, hello? Anybody there? So it means there is no new exciting build to try except the ones that are resolved around Metamorphosis and Mosaic. And this is the direction that, again, probably a lot of people would say, ooh, this is direction of Diablo 3. And I mean, it is in a way when you try to make a build just around an item. And on top of that, of course, we didn't get any balancing of items and other rune words. Right. Things like poison damage go cry in the corner, right? Working as intended. Metamorphosis needed like 75% MF to push me to play a melee char over a non-melee. Nah, still Metamorphosis is very weak. I mean, we had the little test last time, fully geared Druid, 94 level or whatever, endgame Druid, with Metamorphosis, with both buffs, doing CS on players 1, 8 minutes. Basic Sork level 60 ran through Act 1 in the same time. T-zones and single player, yay, useless edition, whoa. This is fine. Yeah, just nerf Quad to a peak player. No, Quad just wants to have variety and do something new every season. And not play the same get you Enigma, get you Infinity, farm Triangle BS. That's what I want. Nerf namespace 2, 0 loot. Right, that's all. Thank you. Don't kid yourself, you're going to play D4? Potentially, yes, most likely. But it doesn't mean that Diablo 2 Resurrected has to be in such a low mode, right? Bo is probably the one who is the most excited about D4. It will make her stronger, but I'm not sure if it's gonna allow really some big differences to do there, to be honest. I am not really sure about that. I mean, maybe early game it will be helpful, you know, before you get the top tier gear. But a character that needs full inventory of charms and then, you know, multiple high runes and all of that. And I do not agree with Boa here that all of this is in a fine place, because the gap between playing it good and playing it so-so is so huge that in terms of amount of efforts you need to put, that I don't like it. Alpha ran smoother than D2R on your setup? Yeah, exactly, that's also good. But, right, so... no class balancing, no TC87 rebalancing, no loot filter, no stacking. I mean... so what do you want from me, guys? Do you want me to start this season? Seriously? Ladder Season 3. Next Thursday. Make a bow zone? No. I mean, I already hated myself starting as a barbarian, even though I got super lucky with all the needed gear by day 3, sort of. But still. And play a build that uses multiple neuron words. The Wahid build? Yes, exactly, Jay. They need to fix TC-87s, TC-84s, that it makes sense to find them. Last stream, I found 2 Steel Pillars, Storm Spire, Monk's Own Lesson, Halberd Rain, Arcane Valor, Bulkata's Sacred Charge, and none of these ultra rare items are used. Halberd Rain is even worse than a mediocre Magic Barbarian Helmet. So, in all those 6 or 5 items, 7, most people never find them even in their life. They're so rare. You mean you found 400,000 gold from Charcy? Exactly. So, like, imagine that things that most people don't even ever see in their life are hot garbage. two Zod, two Burr, and 1 Ja, and 1 Law. Yeah, that's maybe a Fart Zone, the one that only uses Evade. I mean, I did contemplate the idea of playing Fury Druid, or like some Shapeshifter Druid. But only thinking about it, when I start thinking about it as that I will need to grind Pindle, Eldritch, and Trivinkle, or like first Pindle and Eldritch because I will not have weapon. I don't know if you can farm Trivinkle with Obedience or something like that, or Insight, if you will not get smacked there. Until you find the runes for the weapon, for trading for items. I don't know. And I will not have time. I will not have that amount of time I had before. So it will be like, I don't know, 3 weeks without any decent gear. What's the point? I don't want to play Sork. I was thinking playing Pali, but Zealer Paladin, not the Hammer or Fist of the Heavens. But that's the same story. You never seen it 3 times in D2R, true. I mean, look at you, Top Secret. You've done like 1 million runs already, while most of the people get tired on the 10th. So what do you think? Frankie, hello buddy. Yeah, patch notes are there. Check it for yourself if you haven't. Take a look. I'm not going to spoil, but in general, my general opinion from what they introduced in PTR, I think they did good improvements. For everything else, I'm not excited. Just contemplating what character could I play, because I want something new, and the only new thing is the assassin. Boa, just to give you an idea, like you mentioned the commitment, like 150 hours or something. My commitment to the season 3 would be 20 hours a week maximum. If even that. So I don't have nearly that much time anymore. Going Poison Nova Necro? Maybe. Kick scene from the start. I didn't, but I mean, you could use Voice of Reason, I guess, for like early proccing, and it's not too expensive, but Rift is quite expensive. Iron Golem with Hustle sounds good. Actually, good point. At least early on. Providing a little bit of this damage, attack rating, and attack speed. Yeah, MA scene is very squishy, and that's also true. That is also true. Having played through until Act 5 Hell and then Rage Quit the Martial Assassin, I'm not sure if I want to do it again. It's just not hitting anything, no attack rating, no good base to leech life back, nothing. It's just terrible. So it has to be the Trapacine, then moving into Mosaic or whatnot. Is it a small radius? I mean, consider that, Boba, if you play a Summon Necro, that is definitely a better boost than Insight. And anyways, in the beginning you will use Act 2 Merc with Insight on it. So your Iron Golem will be in the heat of the battle next to all of your minions, and that will be something at least boosting it a little bit. Kick and Death Sentry, right. Oh well. I guess it's time to think. Yeah, it's not bad for a core rune for sure. I mean, not at all. And even as a weapon, like it will have to be tested if it's enough for Trivinkle or not. Damage-wise, I mean. Because if it is, then you could definitely simplify that road or progression from Eldritch Pindo to Trivinkle as a melee character. And again, like some of these changes in rune words, I wouldn't have problem with them. Let's say it would be interesting to try it out on single player and, you know, grailing, maybe make some goofy builds or, you know, B tier builds that will be able to do something on players 1, like sniping elites and stuff like that. But building from scratch a character on ladder now when there is nothing much else to see. Not even a freaking loot filter. Oh boy. I mean, how long can we wait for a loot filter that has been created on a day 10 from the D2R release to be available online? How long? Can somebody answer me this? I mean, this is insane. This is so stupid. You can't see shit when you play more than players 1. You can't see shit even on players 1 and cow level. You're supposed to spam ladder and not sell items for money, exactly. Right. Hustle. I'm a hustler. Right. Generally, I'm really happy with some of this, or like most of these rune words. I think those are really interesting, good additions for early game, very, you know, situational and stuff like that, so give a little bit of variety. Most likely down the line it will be again just lore until you find good circlet with 2 skills and until you find Shaco, that's true. That's why we're kind of contemplating that maybe adding 20 or 25 MF on each of these helmet would actually justify using them as early options, but still something. The hustle, also kind of interesting, needs to be tested, especially weapon. The armor, still hard to say if it's really good or not, but weapon might be good. Especially for those runes, that's pretty decent. Mosaic needs to have a lot of heavy testing in this form because the initial tests were really mediocre, very bad in results. And Metamorphosis is probably the most controversial one. what stops you from swapping after getting the mark, swapping in Jalal or G-Phase instead of that? This doesn't seem to justify keeping it on, at least to me. Not a specialist in druids at all. Cool, guys. All right. Anything else to add? Let's wait, no, be right back. I'm not sure what I have here on the I think it's, yeah, it's fine. All right, let's end the poll. Look at this. Look at this, actually. Hell yeah, goat. 60%. We only have 23 votes though. Who was lazy? Who didn't click? Interesting. Most people think it's really good patch notes. Interesting. Maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe, guys. Maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe I'm no longer the biggest Diablo 2 fan, but I do find it mediocre. Good things, but some really big pains are not addressed. Votes add up to 99%. Systemic anomaly, exactly. And so what was expected, right? Best thing, you don't care. You see, Shinoi, like I've seen today a person in like in some live stream who was really, you know, with a foam in his mouth and basically telling that, my goodness, they cannot make the basics, like, you know, something like when I start ranting about not having loot filter, not having stackable runes, that all of this available in mods already, you know, not having end game, no class balancing, even though the first class balancing was really perceived very well, I think, by the fan base, most of them, except, you know, super crazy die-hard classic fans, and so on and so forth. And we still don't have it. No, like, unique items, 90% of them are shit, nobody cares about them. Old rune words, most of them are unusable, especially like weapon ones, like there is only 1 or 2 weapons that I used. So why not to address those things? So this is the question I'm asking. Those questions. Terra zones, who needs them? If the only players are cold sorceresses and all the bots are cold sorcerers and Hammerdins, who needs the Terra zones offline? Really? Loot filter, where? I don't know. It's, I don't want to say it, but I kind of lose excitement. Don't want to also, you know, kind of work bad on your maybe excitement for those like 69-70% of people who really think or like who enjoyed the patch notes and see something cool. No problem, like, you know, everyone has their own cup of tea. It's just that for me it seems a little bit too little to enjoy it. Doesn't mean that I wouldn't play the game anymore or something, but and I know like Top Secret used to say that, you know, we played this game 20 years, ladder after ladder, and, you know, had excitement and joy and everything, but maybe I'm just out of this loop now. You play on ladder and ignore terror zones? Yeah. Exactly, Frankie. I know that there are a lot of people on the edge with Charm Stash. A lot of people think that this is somehow bad, that you have to keep this, you know, stupid idea of deciding what you want to keep in the stash and whatnot, or like in the inventory. I mean, and it's true that sometimes on single player, if you go, let's say, P3 Travinco or Players 8 Arcane Sanctuary, and you get a lot of charms, jewels, and gems and runes and stuff like that, you would probably then, yeah, remove 4 or 5 charms, grand charms, like keep 4x4 at least area, so that you don't have to go back. But again, is this expanding your gameplay? Does it make sense? Is it really a good thing to have? I think no, what the fuck, like you really just want to have extra space where you could loot items and optimize your charms inventory as much as you want, and because charms has such a big part of the game now. Music is loud? Okay. So really, like, would it be so bad? Like, I think people just never played with a charm inventory, and that's why they think this idea is stupid or bad or will change the gameplay or whatnot. No, it won't. Oh yeah, I know Top Secret. I know. It's just that I guess I'm at the point where I don't want to play, or like I'm not getting so much excitement from the game, where they don't do those things for 2 years since the release. Although this is the like #1 thing that is needed as a quality of life change for the modern ARPG. If there is some kind of thought that D2R with the quality of life changes and balance changes will outshine D4, then somebody is very delusional on their side. What if I get 100k views per video again? That's a good question. First of all, that won't change much, to be honest. D2 content is seasonal, 1.5 2 months maximum, and that won't change my life anymore. You only need quality of life in a way that they should implement a grail tracker and more stash stackable currency tab and so on and loot filter, right? They know all our opinions and knew what we wanted, but shrag. You're the old and bitter now. Yeah, I know. I mean, let's be honest, like every time I read the patch notes, except the first one with balance changes, for Season 2, for Season 3, and like whatever word there was in between, I was always feeling a little bit bitter and, you know, not really happy because it doesn't really correspond to what I want to see from the game. And like what I want to see from the game, I think a lot of people want too. And that's why it always feels like a little bit shallow and mediocre of the changes. I do remember it always makes me really feel bad for like a week or two until I say like, okay, this is just stupid game, don't really agonize around it. So, but anyways, Ladder Season 3 is coming February 16. We have all a week or so to think about what we want to play, what we want to start with. I will definitely share. I will start organizing the ladder reset team in the Discord, so if you are looking for somebody to start with, there will be probably again, I'll see if maybe again a Google Doc where we can just, you know, say a little bit our availability when we can start earliest, so that we can then mix and match people based on the region, based on their available time, and based on when they can start play. Let's say like Thursday at night or Friday at night only, or maybe weekend only, so stuff like that. Thank you, Sasquatch. Thank you. The podcast was really cool. I wish we could talk maybe more another time, because I also want to ask Sweet Phil some questions. Maybe one day. Blizzard always ignored their fan base and taken forever to fix anything. True, although, like, you know, some people could say that they started to do the opposite lately. At least, like, with World of Warcraft, you know, the biggest of their running games. There have been a lot of positive news coming from there, so it seems like they started to listen. And again, people that are working on D2R seem to be not really original, you know, old Blizzard employees, let's say, more like folks from Vicarious Visions. But who knows, we never know in which kind of situation they are in, what environment, context, and how many resources they have, what constraints, and so on and so forth. Boa, they listen to the feedback around the rune words. That's true. But would you agree that adding 8 new rune words as an entire season content is nothing? Like, let's be fair. There is nothing else added. Somebody could say that, yeah, Terrazone single player is under charm, but otherwise there is nothing else added. It's only 8 rune words. Couple of bug fixes. What's the new content? Where? All of this is done, like, it takes probably 1 day to implement all of these gameplay changes. Maybe 1 week. Okay. Yeah, shifting between forms, especially when you add a rune word metamorphosis, that is encouraging you to shapeshift between werewolf and bear. Have fun, good night, and read you later. Right, Shinui, thank you. Have a good one. They're on Union time, right. They want you to get bored without too much changes and come play Immortal, right. Exactly. More jokes. Okay, I have to stop this. I might get copyright claims on this stupid music because Ubisoft owns it. Right, guys. So I think, yeah, we looked at it all, we discussed it all. It was a lot of excitement in the beginning, and then aftermath, maybe not so much. And for the latter, season 3, I will create again some information in Discord for you to maybe group up and do something. And yeah, let's see. We can look forward. We can also play other games. It would be cool to see. Actually, like, once again, I think the Diablo 3 season theme is way more exciting and opened up already so many changes in the strategy, like in leveling, in how you theory craft, way more than this patch is, I think. Right, thank you Frankie, thank you Oblivion, thank you Top Secret, Shinui, Boa, and Jay, Dennis, everybody who was here. Thank you so much for participating. I will keep this stream open, so maybe somebody will want to listen to me, although I wanted to be fast, but it took like 1.5 hours to read the patch notes. Anyways, thank you and have a good Wednesday night, I guess. Right. Goodbye. Talk to you later. Maybe Friday, maybe Saturday. Ciao.